if you're watching this video, then it's worked. Thank God. Yesterday I tried to upload, well, tried to even edit, record, do anything with my first video. I hope it was going to be my first video, which was a nice, straightforward, simple unboxing, and it just didn't work at all. Part of the culprit was me, and not knowing what I'm doing at all, which is probably the main issue really. This little camera that I bought off Amazon, which is a 4K action cam. And this might have been the problem, in that this is for kind of whoa dude going down a slope, whereas I just wanted to strap it on my head and just record things. Broke it up into 10-minute segments, which was okay. Obviously you can sort that out in editing. But the big issue was battery life was terrible on it. So you'd record probably for about 20 minutes and that would be it. And because it cut off halfway through one of the segments, it effectively corrupted that file, and it didn't record sound either. So I don't know whether that's my problem with not knowing what to do with the camera, or if there's a fault with the camera itself, but it did have really good reviews. So what I'm doing today is recording off my mobile phone, and I'm hoping that the quality is pretty decent. I'm hoping the sound quality is okay as well. So the picture quality, sorry. What I'm going to do is do what I was going to do yesterday, but there'll be no unboxing because it's already been unboxed. But show you what we got yesterday, and hopefully it'll be a semi-interesting first video, and more of a test for me as well, to try and actually kind of edit and then upload the video. So we're going to start off with something really boring, which is this. This is the Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM. So when I started properly building PCs as a kind of business, or as a hobby business, I suppose you'd call it more so, this was everywhere. This was the go-to bread and butter RAM. Solid as a rock, looks absolutely fine. It's nice that it's got the heatsink, so it doesn't look too basic. This is just literally 2x4 gigabytes at 2400 megahertz. I still buy this kind of the smaller sizes and slower speeds for maybe like older Intel builds. You know, maybe if you've got an i3-6100, something around about that, for, you know, £200–250 range, that kind of thing, where 16 gig is taking over the price limit really, but you still want decent RAM in there. So this is really good stuff actually for that, which is great. A little bit more interesting RAM is this. This is the XPG Spectrix D60G. If I could include RGB RAM with every build, I would, because it feels to me like the next kind of step up when you're building a kind of gamery looking PC, just to kind of get more colour in the kind of darker space next to the processor, and it kind of just says, you know, higher quality, better PC, or more interesting PC anyway. The problem is that you'd go from, let's say 16 gig standard kit would be 60, you can easily add on 20, 30, 40 pounds for the fact it's RGB, whereas this one, it's not too much more really, but you do get the kind of colour effect, and it does work with all of your standard syncing software as well, Aura, AuraSync, MSI, that kind of thing, which is that's really good. So what we have next is the Panther. That's the noise a Panther makes. 220 gigabyte, which is a bit unusual in terms of capacity. I have used Panther before, but never used this one. This was a deal that was made known to me by a friend on Hot Deals UK, and he said it might be useful to get some of these in stock, so I did. A lot of kind of SSDs work the same speeds, you know, the standard 550 megabytes write speeds and that sort of thing. So actually, to be fair, I've got no doubt it'll work absolutely fine. There's a nice little chart there showing the difference between a hard drive and an SSD. The green, what would that be? That would be a kind of falling back midfielder, maybe like a holding role, maybe like a Perlo kind of role. You know, good passing, good tactical ability, that kind of thing. And then the red, what's that going to be? That's going to be a really good shot-stopping goalkeeper with maybe good kicking there as well. So it's nice that they give me the Football Manager chart there as well. So next one is going to be... I'm cheating on this one because this didn't come in the box. It's just right next to me, so why not talk about it? So I bought this for a build, or a potential build, for a customer. They're not the easiest to get hold of at decent prices, so I kind of, when I see one at a reasonable price, I do buy one. So this is the Ryzen 7 3700X. 8 cores, 16 thread. I mean, it's an incredible processor. It really is. So for some of the higher end builds that I do, or if someone wants it for a workstation, video editing, high end gaming PC, that sort of things, this is what I'd use. This is the base. I've already got a PC that I'm going to put this in. It comes with the Wraith Prism cooler, which I'm starting to really like actually. I've got one in my own PC. As a stock cooler, it's actually really good. The RGB effect is really good. It is controllable through the motherboard. And it does a pretty decent job. It's a little bit loud maybe, but that's fine. But yeah, this is kind of where a lot of the PCs I make top out. So this is my kind of high end. I don't tend to go, well, I've never built with a Threadripper CPU or anything like that. So this is my limit for now. Obviously we're only a very small business, so I can't really invest a huge amount into a £500 processor. And stock wise, I can't get really any of the 5000 series easily enough or cheaply enough to warrant me buying them. So this for me is kind of the higher end on that one. Okay, next. Not quite as high end, but I'm still a huge fan. This is, it's an Asus one, the GTX 750 Ti. This is a graphics card that refuses to die. I remember kind of watching videos in 2017 when I kind of first started to really get into more modern PC building, I suppose. I've been doing it for 20 years, but when I got back into it, there was, you know, pairing it with a Q6600 from Intel and saying, is the 750 Ti still a good choice for gamers? And we're in 2021 and there's still videos being made saying, is the 750 Ti a good choice for gamers? And for a lot of games and a lot of very popular titles, Rocket League, League of Legends, CSGO, yeah, absolutely. It's a 1080p card for those kind of circumstances. Things like Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, you're looking at 720p, but it's still a gaming capable card. And it's really useful to have on hand because if, you know, someone wanted a commission a PC that was £250, £300, you need something that's going to do the job but isn't going to cost an absolute arm and a leg, especially with prices as they are at the moment. And this is where graphics cards like this come into play, and it's always useful to have one. And amazing, as I say, I mean, worldwide, they're still considered to be, you know, a really good graphics card, really good gaming graphics card, where maybe you can't get newer stuff easily or cheaply. So this is allows you to play a huge, vast array of games, modern titles as well, without spending too much. So very useful on that one. We have next this one. Now, for the actual card that it is, this is probably the biggest, most over-cooled, over-engineered version of the card I've ever seen. This is a GTX 1060 3GB version. The 1060 before Christmas was a bread and butter card. I'd have maybe 4 or 5 on stock, literally kind of scattered around the room, and you'd use them for kind of, you know, £350, £400 builds, decent builds and that kind of thing. But now, because of mining becoming a thing again, with Bitcoin reaching kind of the higher prices, I think it's up to $30,000 per Bitcoin, and mining in general being popular again, people are buying up the cards like the RX 580 and not leaving any gaming, you know, mid-range, low to mid-range gaming capable cards any kind of decent prices. So this was the first deal I've come across a 1060, and it's a 3GB one. The 6GB version is significantly better, but they're going for £200 at the moment, and I can't justify buying that for a PC that I'd probably sell for, you know, 400, 450 before Christmas. So yeah, this is, I've got lots of cards that look like this, you know, the MSI red and black huge twin fan thing, but never, I mean, it's got the metal back plate on it as well. I've never seen a 1060 like this. Usually they're much smaller cards. So nice version of the card, and you know, I've got a half decent deal for it. Okay, I'm going to do this one. So, talk about modern graphics cards that aren't around much. Sorry, not the camera there. The RX 5500 XT. This is another one of the cards that I don't necessarily think are used for mining, but they're very popular and can fetch very high prices. So this is an 8GB card. I think performance-wise it's just a little bit better than the RX 580 8GB. But yeah, these are one of the cards, and so especially the next card on and the next card after that, the 5600 and 5700, which prices-wise have just gone absolutely through the roof. So this was, I can't even call it a decent deal. It was just about the price I would have paid for it before the mining craze, and I suppose lucky to get one. You know, this I can use this in a wide range of builds, and I'm glad I've got it. But it's yeah, I wish there were more available. Let's kind of put it that way. I'll just put this down to the side. So next one is very interesting. I won't call it a holy grail card because it's not really, but it's certainly a card I've wanted for a very long time. It is the Nvidia GTX 690. It's a dual GPU graphics card. When I started getting back into PC as a hobby around about 4 years ago, the idea of SLI, because I'd never kind of done it, I was in consoles for a long time, so I'd never really built or used SLI, which is where you have two separate graphics cards in the same machine, the same make and same model, and then you kind of, if scaling works, you double your performance. And then you kind of find about dual GPU cards where they do that same idea, but instead of having two separate cards, the two graphics processors are on the actual single card itself, and it gets a bit crazy. And I've got a few, and I'm probably looking at doing a video. So what would it be? The 7950 GX2. That's arguably the first, I suppose, in terms of like the 2-into-1 card, although separately, well, they are separate cards. The 9800 GX2, which is a bit of a monster, a really lovely card. So I might do a video about that as well in the very near future, just showing off those cards there. ATI did some really good ones as well. So yeah, this is the card I've wanted to try for a long time, and it was on eBay for about half the price they usually go for. So I snapped it up because you don't really see that many of them, and it's certainly something I wanted to try and wanted to own. They are power hungry, as you can probably imagine, and it's the 300 watt card. You've got two 8-pin PCIe Express cables that need to be used for it there as well. It's a good looking card. For modern titles, it's not great, because what it is it's two GTX 680s on the card. Now, if you're using a 680 for, let's say, Cyberpunk 2077, it's not going to perform very well. And Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't make use of SLI. So effectively, you're halving the card and halving the performance to get what really is nowadays a very average card, especially for modern titles. But for things like The Witcher 3, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, maybe the earlier ones, right? Yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, maybe, and that kind of thing, where they do make use of the SLI technology. Performance-wise is exceptional, absolutely amazing. So I look forward to kind of testing this one, really. I don't know whether I'll put it in a build. It's very hard to kind of find a build for it, but I'll try, or just keep it myself. I do have quite a few flagship Nvidia cards, and I do have 2 of them. So keep one, sell one, keep one, put one in a build, wherever it might be. It's from the same eBay seller, and effectively, because of the price, it was buy one get one free compared to the usual eBay prices. So both are incredibly clean examples of the cards. I assume that they are working absolutely fine. Yeah, so really fantastic. And this is what would be known, I don't think it was known then as, but it is known now as the Founders Edition, which means that it's an Nvidia card. It's their own reference cooler design, their own PCB design, and they tend to use the higher quality or better processing chips, the dies. They actually kind of use them in their own before they'll hand them out to Gigabyte, which this one is a Gigabyte branded one, but they didn't make it. It's just literally a sticker that's been put on that one. So yeah, Founders Edition. Effectively there, and it's always nice, I think, if you're collecting graphics cards, to have the reference design, because that would have been the first that was released to the press, and the first that would have been reviewed, and the most iconic, I suppose, would be the case on there as well. So we're going from the sublime to the ridiculous. Not that they're not ridiculous, but this, well, let's put it this way. This isn't quite the same performance as the cards that we've looked at today. I bought this pretty much because of the artwork there. This is very nostalgic for me because when we got our first PC, and in future videos I'll talk about kind of my PC history and that sort of things. You'd go in. We had a Windows 95 machine, and until I upgraded the card that was in there, which was literally a 1 megabyte, software card, up until when this card was coming out, 99, 2000, and that sort of things. You'd go into a small computer shop, of which there were many at the time, 99, 2000, especially around Tamworth, there was quite a few, and you'd see these on the shelf, and it was just so exciting to think, what could my PC be capable of? I mean, you look at that, what you're going from 1 meg to 64 meg, AGP, massive difference on there. This is actually, it's not a 3D Force 2, that's not the card. It's an MX200 by Nvidia, GeForce 2 MX200. When it was released, it wasn't a particularly spectacular card. It was very much mainstream card for playing, I suppose, what would it have been, 99, 99, so Quake 3, The Sims, games of that kind of era, and it just brings back kind of memories of going around those, really, where you get these that are so oversold in terms of what they can do. Obviously, you look at the jets, and they won't look like that, and you get all the specifications, and it makes it sound really good, but compared to today, yeah, it's not particularly fantastic. 64 meg, I mean, what's the card here? You've got 3 gigabyte, for example, so just vast differences. This is when DVD was a big deal. Playing DVDs on your PC was seen as a really high-end feature, so to get WinDVD in there was pretty special, really. So yeah, it's just nice. It'll sit on a shelf. I've got no builds for it, not even a retro build, because you wouldn't really use something like this in a retro build, because I've got better options in terms of like AGP cards from this time. It is complete, so again, that was kind of a reason to go for it. Don't tell my wife. And this is the card, and the card is the most boring card, even from that time. No fan on the heat sink, which wasn't unusual. They could manage just with a basic heat sink there. 1 VGA connection, no DVI, no S-video, none of that. AGP connection, which whenever I'm building like a retro PC, P to me represents an old PC. So anything that uses IDE cables or the AGP is old. So when people kind of say it's an old PC, if it's a, I don't know, first generation i3, that's not really old to me. This is old. And yeah, I've got a drawer full of cards that look like that, and it's nothing special, but I liked it because it was complete in box, and it just reminded me so much of when you go around with, like, I go around with my dad and look in computer shops, and yeah, they'll just fill the shelves. You know, you get all kinds of weird. I remember the Verto range. I can't remember who made that, with big robotic faces and all this kind of thing. Massively overselling what the card can actually do, but it's a shelf filler, and I'm very happy to have that. Really happy to have that. So, next one, last one, unfortunately, for today is, I'll bring it down so I'm not going to knock the camera. There we go. EVGA GeForce 980 Ti. The 980 Ti would be my pick if you are looking for a high-end graphics card that hasn't been bitten by the mining bug, because not many people use these for mining, and not many people buy them for builds either, because they're kind of a little bit older. 2015 I think they came out. Again, complete box. Still got the they're not particularly attractive EVGA stickers. I really don't like those. Some stickers you get with various products are really nice. MSI do a really nice little metal one. That's not nice at all. So yeah, GeForce GTX 900 series. So these generally go on eBay still now, although prices are starting to rise. So if you're looking for a really good high-end, this was a flagship card that's still reasonable in price, this would be the one to go for. The 9800, which is the one down from there, is a big drop in performance, and it's around about £100. This, if you can get one for 150, I'd probably say snap it up, because I can very quickly see it going to 200 and going from there. You even get a rather massive poster. So massive it knocks the camera. Again, anything complete like this is a nice little bonus. And I got this card at a very good price as well. I would love to keep a 980 Ti because they are my favourite cards. I do have another one here, which is the Founders Edition. I can't keep it. It's got to, they have to go in builds. But this is kind of you know, more modern games like Cyberpunk, Warzone, or Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, games like that, they will run quite happily on these cards. You're looking around about 1080p, 45 frames a second in Cyberpunk, so it's certainly capable of doing it at medium settings. So still a very capable card, and as I say, value-wise, hasn't been bitten by the mining bug, or you know, people aren't really buying them en masse to put into builds either, system builders and stuff like that. EVGA are a particularly nice brand, and this was something that I didn't really, not the camera again, sorry about that, I wasn't really bothered, I suppose, about what brand the graphics card is, but I suppose it does make a difference, because it is a really nice example of the card. Their cores tend to be very good. Metal backplate there as well. Not as power hungry as the other flagships, so the 690 and that kind of thing. Still got the little peel off kind of stuff there as well. This is a super clocked version. I've never used this particular one. I never used this particular version of the 980 Ti, so it'd be interesting to see what performance. But one of the most enjoyable things for me about PC building and benchmarking, which is one of the things that I really love to do, is being surprised by technology. You know, graphics cards, processors. Been really shocked when you run a benchmark that you get something you don't expect. Every single time I run a 980 Ti, it blows me away. Every single time, which is why it's not a bad idea to keep a few in stock, especially with what's going on in the market right now. So that's the last one for today. Thank you very much for watching. As I say, this is more of a kind of a test to make sure I can actually edit and upload to YouTube, so apologies for any of the mistakes. The knocking of the camera, audio might not be particularly good because I haven't got it set up to record separate audio yet. But hopefully, in the future, it'll be something that I'll be doing more of. I've got loads of things to talk about in my little shed here, so I look forward to making videos for you, and I hope that you look forward to watching them. Thank you very much, and goodbye.